the engineer. Good evening to you as we head out into the field yet again here on the Martian surface. I feel good. I had a dip in the Lazarus, but this is all stuff I've posted already. I mean, so the beauty of the situation, and this is for everyone, is that at any point of your choosing, you can turn your life around by simply doing so. Just making the change. Boom. All of a sudden, boom. This is how it's going to be, and it's hard. We are creatures of habit. So, personality, preferences, is personality different from behavior? Anyway, all of these are factors in who you are. And to make changes, you need to work at it. You need to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do from now on. And you need to practice, and practice makes perfect, and perfect practice is a lot. So you work hard at being who and what you want to be. Do you want to be more optimistic? Do you want to be more outgoing? Do you want to do this or that? You want to stop with bad habits. You need to take it out, remove it, adjust your behavior. And then, and I've used, I don't want to do that right now. I usually compare it to biology very often. That was unusual. Got distracted. The things you see on Mars. Anyway, when you remove something, it leaves a void, and you want to fill that void with something positive. You want to close it off. I'll use a dead person as an example. A dead person knows lots of people, all these connections. Now, the person, I don't know how to work it. The person in the center of the connections, the one that dies, they go missing. And then there is a void, an emptiness, a space in the spot where they were for all of these different people, all of these people that they were connected to. And a funeral brings all the people together over that void, and you find a lot of sadness. You fill it up with water, tears. Fill it up with water, and that's positive. That keeps things from kind of collapsing in on themselves. And you mend it. You mend it by talking to the other people during the wake, and usually you try to lift each other's spirits. Well, that's unusual. I didn't know there was a light here. When did that get here? Oh, it's a lot earlier than I'm normally around. More distractions. So you fill it up with water, right? You get the tears, you fill up the void, and water is the basis for everything. Now, you don't throw a bunch of muck in there, you'll get bacteria and mold and flies and bugs. That's gross. And it would just fester. We don't want things to fester. And this is more than just for a dead person. This is everything in your life. These are experiences. These are even bad experiences. Any sad thing, any bad habit, any situation in your life that is affecting you negatively needs to be cleansed and removed and filled with something positive. So everybody's coming together and they're sewing the wound together. You close up on and you thread between the people that they were connected to, condolences and this and that, and you close off the wound. And then everyone separates again, having gone through triage, having put not a band-aid, but actually treated the wound. And in that place, everybody walks away with something different. And the way it affects them will vary for the individual. So then, when you're on your own with it, you've got this leftover. This is. I forgot to say this in text, but I wanted to mention it. This is so good. This is the gem. It's that light is the memory of the universe being shared, and what we see of the stars is a time that was being shared as a story unfolding before us as we live our lives. Like that? That's rather poetic, I think. Yeah? Okay. So, then, when you have it by yourself and you've got this hole, you need to fill it with something positive. You need to take measures, corrective actions to ensure that you're moving on from that point. Otherwise, as you continue, so does this hole continue with you. And if you don't put something in it, something else will find the space and fill it for you. And this is true of everything. I mean, you're driving. What do you have in front of you? Space. So what do? You drive into it. You keep driving into space. If there's a wall in front of you, do you go into it? No. You stop, because we don't occupy space that's already filled. But we do like to fill in space that is empty. Sex is a prime example of this. There's a space that people like to fill. I hope that wasn't too vulgar. I didn't think it was necessarily vulgar, but it is a fact of life. Now, this is true for more than just sex or driving. It's how we get around. It's how the whole world was put together. We spread out. You know, you see one person, you bounce off them, you go away, and you grow up, and you do it again, and everybody just expands outward. Now, this is true in the universe as well. The universe is expanding, and space is expanding to fill space. That's an awkward moment. Okay. So then, what's next? We have, that does bring me to a point about space and expansion. Like the human population expanded. Well, even green matter, funguses and plants and stuff expanded. They were here first, and they expanded and they crossed all over the world. Well, excuse me, pardon me. They expanded all over the world, and then what followed was the other subsequent forms of life that would then feed on it. And without plants, we wouldn't have the oxygen in the air for us to breathe. So be thankful of your green friend, because they're there for us as we should be there for them. And I'm really worried about bees. It's a segue without a driving point, but I'm really worried about bees. They say that if all the bees are gone, so are we, because we need pollination. So I haven't looked it up yet, but I'm wondering about bee farms and bee populations and returning bees to more healthy abundancy across the world, and not these Africanized honeybees, which are also known as killer bees, because that would just be dangerous. Although I think necessary. I mean, they're trying to get rid of the threat that's killing them off. That's just nature at work, even if it was done by retards in a science lab. And I don't mean that in a mean way, these retards in a science lab, and I really don't want to offend retards, because I mean we don't even call them retards anymore. We call them handicapped, mentally deficient, physically something, handicapped, physically disabled, and so retard itself is really just a term for dumb people. And I hope I don't offend dumb people by calling them retards. But all in all, it's now I'm completely off track. Well, the point is, there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do. I'm doing it, or at least, no, I want to. Means is very difficult. I'm working out how I can do it. I have responsibilities that kind of stick me into a category, a system where it's harder for me to do more, but I'm trying to find out how I can from my system, and then also change the system that I'm in. Wait, that can mean anything. I want to either leave the system or change the system that I'm in so that I can do more, so everybody can do more for the environment that we live in. Because yeah, you know what, the world's going to keep going even without man, but I'd like it if man could keep going with the world. I want to see us unify and collectively branch out and pioneer out into space. And that's, people are concerned, oh, we're sending people out and they're just going to go off and die. You know, I think that we can really achieve something with space, even if it's far. And communication is key. It's very important. I really believe that there's something in the QCOM. If you don't know what that is, it's okay, because I don't want people stealing my idea, because I'm still not sure if it's going to work or not. I've gotten mixed reports, and I'm in denial about it not working. But the QCOM is a great idea, and it's faster than light because it doesn't move at the speed of light. It doesn't move at all. It's instantaneous communication. It's almost subspace communication, like from Star Trek. It was thrilled when I had the idea, but it ain't happening. There's a couple ideas that apparently aren't happening, and I don't know why or how that fell apart, but I got sidetracked. I tend to, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and we will see what's what. So, I wonder if there's still time for a couple of things. I've got about a week for some of these plans that may or may not have happened. Okay.